Yo, what is good, guys? Today I'm going to be trying something a little bit different. I think I'm just going to keep this completely unedited because there is just so many hot takes and just so much stuff that we could discuss in here. And, right now, bro, I'm going to college in literally a day. Tomorrow I'm moving in and I'm just pretty exhausted, bro. This whole week been pretty stressful. I've been kind of nervous just getting prepped, packing, and everything. So I think I just want to kind of make this video unedited and just chill, lay back, just read some of your guys' hot takes. And yeah, I know, my bad. The last time I made the first video, it was like a couple of months ago. Completely aware of that, but I did tell you guys I will get around to it. So here I am. Let's see if you guys like this, if you want me to do more. And yeah, there's like 119 comments, bro. So yeah, this might take a little, and I'm definitely going to be splitting these up into parts. And I don't even know how many comments I'll read today, but let's just see how long it takes, or I'll just stop when I feel like stopping. But yeah, let's just start, bro. I think I covered some of these in my last video, but I low-key forgot what I said, so I might repeat some. But all right, first one, in my opinion, the fact that Byakuya didn't die is actually a good thing. Oh, I did. Okay, wait, did I? Okay, no, I didn't. I don't think I covered this in my first one. Yeah, I don't think I did. Okay, first one by Catherine Swan 3806. Wow, this is 5 months ago, bro. My bad. Okay, she says, in my opinion, the fact that Byakuya didn't die is actually a good thing. You see, the tension and some kind of distance in his relationship with Rukia never really went away. But here he acknowledges her strength. Her reaction almost makes me cry. And then he lets her kill as not. By that, he says, I see you as an equal. Also, after the fight, he says that her Bankai is beautiful, which is the first nice thing that he told her. Not about her, not showed his feelings through actions. We already saw these. No, he just said, you are beautiful. It's so satisfying to see the progress in their relationship, even if it wasn't originally planned. Alright, I'm going to talk about this one first. And in my opinion, the Byakuya whole death, the fake out thing, I think I still would have preferred that Byakuya died, but that's just my opinion. I think his character arc would have just ended perfectly there, but Kubo bringing him back, I honestly didn't mind as much because I think he did it really well, and I can see why some people would still want to bring Byakuya back, especially because, in my opinion, Rukia, we saw this in the show, but Rukia's Bankai is not mastered yet. It was one of her, I think it was like one of the first times she used it, if not the first. But Byakuya is like, it's a very hazardous Bankai. You got to be very careful with how you use it. So I think Byakuya, or I still think Rukia, still needed Byakuya to be around so she could learn to control her Bankai, and I think she just still needed him around so he kind of assist and teach her, kind of be like that mentor figure for her in order to control her power, which I think Kubo was alluding to in that moment. But I still would have preferred that he died for sure, but I like the way that Kubo did bring him back. I'll say that. I think I think Rukia having him by her side while she finishes off Asnat was the perfect way to end that character arc for him, because I don't really think he's going to have a major role in the final, the final core. I know he's there fighting, but I think that's really the last major character moment we'll have for him. So yeah, that's what I have on Byakuya dying. For number 2, I love chapter and volume titles, and I can't even speak. I love chapter and volume titles as much as poems. They're so beautiful. Yes, bro. I've actually, bro, some of the Bleach poems, like, I don't know how Kubo even thinks of this, but this is another reason I really love Bleach. I think the dialogue is some of the best in anime. I think the way Kubo structures things, and he alludes to such symbolic and kind of parallels in his poems, and they're just very deep, bro. Sometimes I just gotta reread them, and even if I read them like 4 times, I still don't know what Kubo's talking about. So yeah, I really love the poems for sure, and I might have to look at the volume titles, man. I have reread the Bleach manga after seeing the anime, but I haven't really paid that much attention to like the volume titles and stuff. So that might be something I have to check out. All right, number 3. I'm tired of comparing characters by strength. Like, they're not robots, they can make mistakes, and there are always circumstances, always reasons why the fights went the way they did, and people are just trying to calculate them like a strength asset, I don't know, which can also be changed. So I agree. I think I do agree with this because I think some people when they talk about power scaling, they kind of just ignore the other factors in a fight that could happen, and it's very possible for the stronger opponent to lose. And for example, I've been rewatching Bleach, like seeing people react to Bleach, and I think some of the latest stuff I've seen was, before the whole Wake Mundo invasion, before Orihime got kidnapped and all that stuff. Luffy, the guy who took Grimjow's place as the number 6 Espada, he was like 1v4ing like Toshiro, Rangiku, Ikaku, and Yumichika. But according to Toshiro, Luffy, he's an Espada, bro. They are stronger than the Soul Reaper captains, but I'm not really sure how much that really is true because it's Toshiro saying that. But anyways, that's not the point. I remember in that fight, Luffy, he was wrecking everybody, dude. And the reason he actually lost in the end was because he underestimated his opponent. So that's just one example of how the stronger person in the fight can actually lose. There's attitude. Some people are just damn cocky. Which was Luffy, bro. Like, I'm low-key glad he just got killed because I wasn't really a fan of his character. I'm happy Grimjow killed him, but yeah, the stronger character can definitely lose, bro. But I think you gotta just keep in mind the other elements to the fight because, we saw Ichigo get rolled by Askin, bro. And we know that Askin is not stronger than Ichigo, okay? So there's that. That's all I'm gonna say about that. All right, number 4. We don't need Aizen's backstory to know why he is doing what he's doing, and we definitely don't need to sympathize with him. I 100% agree with this, bro. This is a fire take. I don't know why people really want Aizen's backstory. I would just prefer that he stayed just evil for the fun of it. Just, he's just Aizen, bro. When you think of Aizen, you think of just a devil, all according to my plan. Just the manipulator, bro. You just think of the Black Air Force energy, bro. And if he got a backstory, I really don't think I would be able to sympathize with him at all, bro. Even if he had, the saddest backstory in fiction, I just think it would take away from his character. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels that way, but I think this is a very valid take, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I think it is. All right, number 5. The first arc is such a good one. I like the way we're introduced to this world, to its problems, how we slowly understand characters more and more. I completely agree with this too. So the first arc, I think it's called the Substitute Shinigami arc. Before Soul Society, we know the madness Soul Society was, but I think people do underappreciate the first arc in Bleach. It is kind of slow at some points, I think probably the weakest part of the arc to me was like the Chad and the parakeet thing. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really care about that like that much, but the first arc was definitely just adding to the world building. It just set up the rules and the laws, hollows, holes, guys, everything like that, right? It was just, I don't know what more I don't know what more people wanted to expect from the first arc. When I really think about it, I think it was a good way to start the show, and I guess Kubo could have done maybe some more, maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure what he could have really added in, but I think we got everything we wanted, to be honest. Like, in my opinion, Rukia and Byakuya pulling up to take Byakuya and Renji pulling up to take Rukia, got introduced to the Soul Society. It was just an intro arc. I don't really know why people would shit on it. And when you think about it, it's not even that long. So I think the first arc is underappreciated. I wouldn't say it's a great arc. I just like the way it established the laws and, the rules of the show. But yeah, it was just a good intro arc, bro. I don't really have a lot of problems with the first arc, to be honest. So that's what I have to say. All right, number 6. Bleach is not a love story, but the couples actually made sense in context of story and written well, even if there's no romance on screen / page. All right, so I think this goes into the people who wanted Ichigo and Rukia to end up. And in my opinion, I never really thought why people wanted that to happen, because I always thought that Ichigo and Orihime were destined to end up together. And me, I still don't know who ends up together at the end of the show. I don't know if there's like a Boruto type of thing. Maybe you see them as adults at the end. But if Ichigo and Orihime ended up at the end of the show, I think that just completely makes the most sense. But I don't know. Rukia, I always saw Rukia and Ichigo's relationship as more of a brother and a sister. I never saw them as lovers. Like Rukia, she was always there to kind of take care of Ichigo and motivate him whenever he was down, whenever he was feeling scared of the hollow within him. That was a great speech by Rukia. She's like, bro, you just got to get stronger to the point where you can defeat that hollow and protect your friends. And Ichigo, he came back from that, bro. So I never really saw them as lovers. I guess why, I don't know. I guess I could see why some people might want them to end up together. But, another thing is Renji, bro. Renji and Rukia, like, come on, bro. Give Renji that dub at least. Renji, bro, he has known Rukia. He's gone way back with her, more than Ichigo ever could have, bro. Like, come on, bro. Childhood friends going through Soul Reaper Academy together. They have to end up together, bro. Like, I just really don't see a way around it. I don't know why people would ship Renji with anyone else or ship Rukia with anyone else except Renji. But, in my opinion, I don't really care about shipping people that much. But this is just the way that, or these are just the pairings that made the most sense to me. But yeah, that's what I got to say about that. All right, let's go. By Toby. Not gonna lie, Shinji carried the Visor, but Kubo had to nerf him and make him yap about his ability so he would lose his fights. Oh, Shinji, bro. Man, I love Shinji, bro. Even if he loses some fights, bro. Yo, Shinji, I'm not gonna lie, bro. He kinda did carry the Visor to an extent. I don't know. I did tell you guys I was rewatching Bleach, and I'm at the point where Shinji pulled up on Grimmjow. Oh my god, with Escalon, the OST playing in the background when he pulls out his mask, bro. Yo, Shinji is just so cool, bro. But I don't know. He's just one of those characters where, like, he's cool. But yeah, he kind of falls off sometimes, but he's just one of the OGs, bro. I don't know. I don't hate Shinji. In fact, I really love Shinji, but the other Visors, I still like them, but there are definitely some that I think maybe on Fraud Watch, who knows, Love didn't get that much action. I don't really know what he's doing in the show. Kensei, I don't know. He started off good. I thought he was going to be like insane when I first saw him, like with the little knives, but I don't know. He got whooped by Maskedy Masculine in 1000-Year Blood War, bro. And the same for Rose. They got 1v2'd by Maskedy Masculine, bro. Like, yeah, some of the Visored, I'm sorry, they're kind of sorry, but they just don't really do much in the story. I'm sorry. I think that's one of my main problems with the show as a whole. I think the Visoreds could have got more. I just think maybe Kubo introduced too many of them. Like, I'm fine with Hiyori, Shinji, maybe the girl who beat up Hisagi. I think her name's like Mashino or something. Like, I'm fine with some of them, but at the same time, some of them just I could get without them. I'll be honest, but yeah, that's what I got to say about that. This is from Helen. She's actually in my Discord. She said, 1, Aizen was right. The CFYOW novel proves that the Soul Society is extremely corrupt and unfair towards its Rukongai citizens. Okay, I think CFYOW, isn't that like Can't Fear Your Own World? I know that's a light novel, I think, and some people said I should actually read that, but I think it's like, is that after 1000-Year Blood War? Because if it's before 1000-Year Blood War, I will definitely read it, but I'm still like kind of new to the light novel space. I don't know what to hell to like dive into in the light novels, but just give me some more info on that in the comments if you guys want. If you guys want me to read it after, the 1000-Year Blood War comes out and I finish watching Core 4. But as for Aizen is right, Um, obviously, like I don't justify Aizen's actions, like trying to be the next Soul King or just kill the Soul King standing on top of the world and just murking everybody. Obviously, that's not right, right? But you know, um, I will say though, the Soul Society, I don't know why they treat the Rukongai so badly. Because when you picture the Soul Society, imagine you're just a little ghost in the human world, okay? And you're about to get a console performed on you by a Soul Reaper, and they're like, you're gonna go to the Soul Society. Don't worry, it's such a peaceful place. Everything, it's basically heaven, right? And then you get there, you can't find your family, you're poor, you're starving. It's just crazy, bro. I don't know. Like, I don't know how that's allowed. They can't even link you up with your dead family. I don't get it. That's just something I think is OD by the Soul Society. I think they could treat their Rukonga a little bit better, but who knows, bro? Like, it seems like the only way to really make a living is by becoming a Soul Reaper. But yeah, that is kind of messed up, I'll be honest. All right. Mayuri and Urahara need to be locked up. Love them both, and I know that they both low-key, high-key carried the wars, but their crimes are actually horrible. Oh my goodness. Urahara, bro. Urahara, first of all, how the hell did he create the Hogyoku? That's something I still wonder to this day. How did this man create the fucking Hogyoku? Like, what? I just don't know. But Urahara, he seems morally right. He realized he created this indestructible, just OD weapon, right? It's just crazy. Aizen got it, and he tried preventing it by hiding it inside an untraceable Giga within Rukia, because he realized what he did was wrong. So I would agree. Urahara making the Hogyoku was a big crime. I can understand why the Soul Society would want to exile him, but at the same time, I'm like, Soul Society, if you have someone who's this smart and can create an object that is this powerful, at that point, bro, just keep him. And I don't know why you would exile him, because I feel like that would just make him more, anger prone. I feel like it would make him want to invent something to get revenge on the Soul Society or something. And I don't know why they would just leave him loose like that. I mean, obviously he was in hiding and stuff, but I feel like instead of exiling him, maybe they could have made him try and atone for his sins in the Soul Society by making him research a way to destroy the Hogyoku instead of just sending him away. But at the same time, they didn't run away with Yoruichi. Who knows? He might have got executed or something, but who knows, bro? But with Mayuri, I feel like, bro, Mayuri is an interesting case because, the shit he does it's crazy, bro. He was a criminal and he was locked up, bro. But Urahara, he gave him a second chance in life, bro. He was able to become a captain. And this is just one of those characters you're like, oh my goodness, thank God they're on our side. Because just imagine if Mayuri was on the enemy side, bro. We would be cooked. I think Mayuri is actually... I honestly think Mayuri is like my most feared character in anime, bro. I think I would rather fight anybody else except him. I would fight Kenny. I'd fight Aizen, bro. I don't care. Mayuri is the last person I would want to fight. You just saw what he did to Swayalaparo. But yeah, bro, some of the things Mayuri does is crazy, but as long as it's for the good of the Soul Society. I mean, hold on. I forgot. At the same time, bro, Soul Society Mayuri, didn't he use some of his own men as like bombs? Like, that's kind of crazy, bro. I'm gonna be honest. That's the only thing where I'm like, Mayuri, okay, bro, you might need to get locked up, but yeah, at the same time, I don't really know if anyone cared about those fodder Soul Reapers, so let's just move on. All right. Oh my god, I'm never gonna get finished with this series, bro. We're only like 2 in. All right, let's see. Number 3, Yoruichi shouldn't be the face of Bleach Woman. She has one big scene every few arcs and is mostly just there for the likability and fan service. I love her, but the fact that she's literally the face of Bleach Woman shows the amount of D1 gooners in this fandom. Okay, so Yoruichi, I mean, I love Yoruichi, bro. I wouldn't say she's an S tier character, but bro, come on, bro. Sometimes you just gotta let your inner goon take over. As for her character, I feel like there may be better written female characters other than Yoruichi. Let's name out some of the female characters right now. Okay, you got Rangiku, Orihime, Nell, Yoruichi Unohana. But in general, I think the Bleach women are some of the best written women compared to other animes. I'm not saying they're the most well written, and I can't believe I forgot Rukia. My bad. I think Rukia should definitely be the face of the Bleach woman instead of Yoruichi. That's my opinion, but yeah, compared to other animes, I definitely think Bleach has a stronger female cast, but the fan service and the likability that does definitely play a big part. But at the last, or what am I saying? She is badass, bro. You can't deny that, bro. Yoruichi, like, she's just cool, bro. I think people, it's just very fresh to see a strong and badass female character, bro. Um, I think that's why Yoruichi does get the praise. I think that she deserves because she's just cool, bro. I think it's very rare that you see those, if you watch Black Clover, Maria Lona, it's very rare that you get those type of female characters who aren't annoying. They're actually strong and they're just not there for the fan service. So yeah, and she has like that little relationship to Urahara, the stealth force. I think overall there's more to Yoruichi. I wouldn't say, I can't even speak, bro. Oh my god. I wouldn't say she's the best character, but you say she has one big scene every few arcs. I can't agree with that. She isn't really the most relevant character, I'd say. She does pop in just like Aura Farm a bit, but yeah, I can agree with part of this take, I'll be honest. And number 4, Orihime haters make no sense. I agree with this, but at the same time, I don't get mad at Orihime haters because, in my opinion, I think the biggest reason people hate Orihime is because of the anime. I think all the Kurosaki-kuns can get annoying at times. I haven't got annoyed by it, in my opinion, because I just know that's the way Japanese people talk, right? But Orihime, I don't know, bro. Sometimes when people look at her, she's just like, or they're just like, she's annoying, she's weak, she's useless, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know, how could you hate Orihime, bro? Aizen wanted her. She was clearly important. The whole focus of the Arrancar saga was around Orihime, if we're gonna be honest, right? It was kind of a parallel to Soul Society. Instead of rescuing Rukia, now we were rescuing Orihime, but I never hated Orihime, bro. I just thought she was chill. She wasn't annoying. I guess annoying is like subjective. Like, people have different opinions, but in my opinion, I don't see her as an annoying character. So I can't speak for the other people who hate her because I can see where they're coming from, but I don't know. I just never agreed with the Orihime hate, okay? Let's move on. Beyond the anime panels, they say the Bound arc is really good and actually helped the pacing of Bleach's character development. I'm not going to read the rest of this because I haven't seen the Bound arc, but from what I've seen, bro, people say it's like the worst filler arc in Bleach or just like in anime in general. So let me know what you guys think of the Bound arc. But yeah, that's all I think about that, bro. I can't really speak on this take too much. And number 2, the Fullbring arc is easily the best arc of Bleach. It actually focuses on character development, breaking Ichigo down and rebuilding him into a more interesting MC. The emotional beats hit hard as Ichigo genuinely reaches rock bottom. All the Fullbringers are awesome, and Tsukishima creates some of the most psychologically horrifying moments in all of fiction with his book at the end. The Ginjo betrayal was an insane moment that just as hard as Aizen's for me. I agree. I don't think it's the best arc in Bleach, but I will say I think the Fullbringer arc is heavily underrated, bro. I don't know. I feel like most shonen fans, they want to see boom boom, pow pow, bankai bankai, right? But the Fullbringer arc, I just loved it, bro. It might not have had the most intriguing battles, villains, even though I personally thought Tsukishima and Ginjo were fucking amazing. I also like the Fullbringers, but the Fullbringer arc to me, it just hit different. I don't know. It had some of the most emotional scenes in the show for me. Ichigo breaking down in the rain. Tsukishima just, oh my goodness, just playing with Ichigo's mind, just psychologically showing up on his couch, bro. Uncle Sue. I don't know, bro. I think Tsukishima hard carries it for me. yeah, Tsukishima was just great, bro. I did enjoy him more than Ginjo, and the whole suspense behind him being the one to take out Uryu. Then we realized it wasn't actually Uryu. I don't know, bro. This arc was all over the place, but I loved it. I just loved how laid back it was, seeing Ichigo's inner struggles, and it just made Ichigo so much more relatable to me. And it really made him my favorite MC in anime, bro. I think this is the arc that really solidified it. And I also liked how we kind of focused on the human world more instead of the Soul Society. I know the Soul Society came in at the end of the arc to, help Ichigo out and stuff, but I like how we focused on Ichigo's life again. It kind of took me back to early Bleach, seeing all of Ichigo's friends, no Rukia, no Kenny in sight until the end. And I think, oh my god, I don't know, bro. I don't know why people would say the Fullbringer arc. Like, I've deadass seen people say it's filler. I don't know how you could go to the Fullbringer arc, watch it, and then tell someone that you could skip it. That's crazy for me, bro. I think some people, like, they just want to see all the fights, all the action, and that's the thing I just really don't like about anime fans in general. Like, I don't know why, but I feel like I'm kind of in a stage where I want to enjoy deeper things about anime. Like, if you've seen Mesby's video, I think it was like escaping the shonen phase or something. Very great video. Check that out. And I think it's as you get older, I want to kind of get more into psychological anime, just other genres, like hell, maybe even romance if I wanted. But seinen, I started like reading the Berserk manga and stuff. But I think this arc as a whole really narrowed down on Bleach's gray area, and it really focused on Ichigo as a character, which I loved. I think this is one of the reasons why I highly valued this arc, was because Ichigo is literally my favorite character, and this arc, obviously, it was all about him and his inner struggles. So yeah, it was just, it was very different. I think people don't really want to accept change that greatly. And I know change, it can be hard, but sometimes it is necessary. But I wouldn't say it's the best arc of Bleach because, like, come on, bro, Soul Society. But I can definitely see the underrated aspect of this arc, bro. It is so good in my opinion. I don't know. I think this arc is just so underappreciated. And I just went through a whole lot of yapping, bro. I don't know. I just love this arc so much, but I'll probably do like one more. This is about DBZ. Maybe I should make DBZ videos in the future. Let's see. But what's an interesting one? Let's see. Hot take. Coming from a massive Bleach fan, Kubo's extremely subtle writing style is both Bleach's biggest strength and a curse. If it had been slightly more clear at some points what Kubo was going for, I think the story would be more appreciated. It's extremely common on a first read for the symbolism and themes to run straight over someone's head. Aizen is Lucifer falling from the grace. Yuha is the misguided messiah. Stark and Kenny being the mirrors of each other without ever meeting on the screen, etc. I've been trying to get my friend to reread the series for years now because he still thinks Bleach is a mediocre series on the writing because he was only 16 when he watched the anime. Also, the OG anime is an awful adaptation, but that's by the by nowadays. All right, this is something I agree with. Kubo definitely doesn't just throw things in your face. Bleach is definitely a show where everything, as he said, is more subtle, and everything you gotta have to dig for answers, bro. That's also a thing I really liked when I was first watching the show. Like, you just don't get everything right away, and I'm just repeating myself at this point, but I do agree with this, bro. I do agree with this, and I think another part that plays into this take is just your age in general. Like he said, his friend was 16, and I think I started Bleach when I was 17, and I started my very first anime, bro. I started Naruto when I was like 14 or 15, and I loved Naruto, bro. But I think that if I had seen Bleach as my first anime, I don't think I would like it and appreciate it as much as I do now if I was that young. So I agree with that. Definitely. I think it grows on you more as you get older. You start to realize more things that you just wouldn't realize when you're younger. So I think that's also part of the reason why a lot of my audience, like, I be seeing my analytics on YouTube, and it's like, damn, most of my audience members are like adults, bro. They're like in their 20 to 30s. Like, I did not expect that. But yeah, I feel like if my channel was started on like Naruto or One Piece, I feel like the age would be a little lower. Not to say Naruto and One Piece are shows for kids, like, of course not. But I just think overall the Bleach fandom is just more high in age, okay? So yeah, and obviously the symbolism Aizen, Yuha, Kenny. I have really never thought of the Kenny and Stark symbolism. That's actually very interesting when I think about it, man. Wow, I'm gonna have to look into that more, but yeah, I think overall some very valid takes. Tell me, guys, do you guys enjoy this more unedited style of content? And yeah, sorry if I was kind of yapping or seemed kind of down in this video. Hopefully the audio is good, but yeah, as I said, bro, I'm going to college. It's just been very hectic. And yeah, bro, I'll just update you guys later. I'm gonna have to like find a place to record in college. Hopefully there's like a studio or something, the library, like just a little room that I can like start live streaming and stuff too. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this wasn't a dog shit video. And yeah, see you guys later.